So
Hello.
good morning. Here we are on Yachting International Radio, and I'm the guest host for Rebecca Whitlocke, joining you for coffee and conversation. And today we are talking to DiIanni, who is the president and executive producer of House Films in Shanghai in China. Hello, Rick. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Rebecca. Perfect pronunciation on the name.
Well, that's a good start then. I'm happy with that. Now, I just wanted to talk to you briefly because around about 18 months ago, we first communicated, and you were speaking to me about your concept for Yacht Life, which was intending to be a digital lifestyle show to increase knowledge of the yachting culture in China. And now we're at the stage where you're past just the concept and you're in production. So you've just recently filmed the first 3 episodes in Thailand, and the series will launch in the middle of November. So today I just would like to chat to you a little bit more about the process of getting the concept brought to life and what you have planned for the future. So first of all, my first question would be, obviously, the marketing for yachting in China and the Mediterranean, Caribbean, etc., are vastly different. So can you share with me the process that you took to choose a presenter for the Yacht Life series?
Okay, yeah, it wasn't much of a process because I work very closely with Sarah. She's my wife, and she kind of represents. She's the host of 80% of our content. And there's a reason for that. We originally did our wine show with a male host who was an ex-Olympic swimmer for the Chinese team, and huge guy, very professional, but he knew nothing about wine. And we paired him with one of the best wine educators in China, also a really amazing guy. And we did 2 episodes of a very humorous sort of introduction to wine, and our audience fell in love with it. We got a lot of views, a lot of reaction. But after that, Zoro, who was our host, moved on to other things, and we put Sarah in the position of somebody who was a novice learning about wine, and we found that people really, really liked her. They related to her, and we got a lot of comments like, "If Sarah likes it, I think I would too,"
Yes.
from our fans. And we realized that Sarah represents a typical Chinese woman in the eyes of the viewers. Not that she's typical, because she's atypical, but they understand that she's not a wine connoisseur. She does not she's not a sommelier. She's just a regular wine drinker. I think it's analogous to maybe Robert Parker, who was a lawyer from Baltimore, who basically remade the wine industry in the image of American wine drinkers. If you know about his story. So anyway, so Sarah represents typical Chinese taste. So when we were going to do the yacht show, we said, well, the audience already sees Sarah as representing sort of a typical Chinese woman, and she had a lot of the same concerns that Chinese women have, not wanting to get sunburn or suntan, seasick, or drowning. Right? That's how. When I first ran the idea by her, she said, "I don't want to do it. I don't want to go to a boat. I don't want to drown. I don't want to get seasick, and I don't want to get sunburn." Right? So this is how Chinese people perceive yachting, and we wanted to put somebody like them on as the host, so they could see how she handles it.
Yes, of course. So it's basically that connection, because culturally it's very different. And for myself, I'm originally from New Zealand, so we grew up around the water as well, and now I'm based in the Mediterranean. So you're used to that nautical lifestyle here. So I do understand with the trying to put that across in the show, and I think it's fantastic because it's quite a fresh concept anyway to show the lifestyle aspect of yachting. We see a lot of videos that focus a lot on yacht sales, or perhaps a little bit for charter, but they're strongly focused on the vessel itself and not the lifestyle around it. So
right.
From that perspective, from a media perspective, I think it's a fantastic idea. And now just speaking about Sarah, now she's not atypical because she has 1.5 million social media fans. So for the show to progress, how do you balance the response that you're expecting from the episodes with production as you go along?
Well, yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a little bit of an experiment for us now. We follow the, what is, as a writer, you know, the hero's journey, where we have somebody who goes into a stranger in a strange land and learns about this new world, whether it's wine, food, or in this case yachting, from people in the industry, and also basically through the experiences and the people she meets, and becomes an enhanced personality because of that, bringing this new powers and this new capabilities into her life. So Sarah is a very, very unusually approachable person, particularly for Chinese. And one of the things I like about whenever she meets fans is almost the first thing they do is start laughing when they meet her. She's not a comedian, but they feel warm, and they feel very comfortable around her immediately. So it's not like there's not a sense of, oh, she's a celebrity. There's awe. So she's a nice, easy rapport with her audience. Yeah. So again, this is our thinking with that.
Okay, so the engagement you're expecting, because she already has that. She's built that rapport, and she's seen as quite an approachable figure in media. That's actually going to aid the series as you go along.
Exactly, because people will say, if Sarah likes it, I like it. But also, we like to shoot in whether it's a food or wine or the yacht show. We want the audience at the end to say, I wish that was me. I wish I was there. And so we always try to do that. Everything is done in it's a little bit of information, but it's a lot of kind of relaxedness and very conversational and very, Sarah's basically an interviewer. So each of our episodes centers around a core interview. So she interviews a fashionista in the first one about Thai fashion, and then they put on some outfits and they take pictures of each other on the boat. And in the second episode, she interviews a great cinematographer, underwater cinematographer, David Martin, who worked with Leonardo DiCaprio on The Deep. And he has this organization called Oceans for All, which is about preserving the ocean ecosystem around Thailand and, of course, the world broader. So she has a nice conversation with him about that and how Chinese people can have a positive impact on our global oceans. So she wants to bring that message. And then our last one is interviews with people around the Royal Phuket Marinas, particularly Gulu Lavani, who is the chairman of the Royal Phuket Marina and basically a yachting legend in Southeast Asia.
Yes. Okay, and so now obviously you've opted to film the first 3 episodes in Thailand as opposed to China. So was that driven by partnerships that you reached out to Royal Phuket Marina, or how did that come about where you made that decision to film in China for the initial episodes?
Well, we wanted to go someplace where yachting was more developed as a culture, where it was more beautiful, frankly. So we could have shot in Hainan, but we felt that the yachting culture in Thailand was significantly more developed, and the marinas and in China, most marinas are not well kept. Most boats are not well kept. We see boats sometimes around Shanghai. We've got some yachts, but the wood isn't taken care of. The boats are often dirty, smudged. They're not maintained well. And the marinas sometimes, you're walking on the boardwalk and there's planks are loose or broken, and it's not a very luxury experience. So we wanted to get to an area of the world to show yachting done the right way. And kind of bring it in. So we're thinking either Southeast Asia like Thailand or maybe Monaco. And talking with the Royal Phuket Marina, they were very open to it. And we felt they were going to be great partners.
Okay. And that's a good start to the series, to base those first 3 episodes there and have quite a willing partnership in the beginning. That sets quite a nice foundation for the series as well. Especially when
exactly.
Get engagement for your audience. Now that brings me to another thing is because the yachting market in China does have some challenges, as you mentioned, the infrastructure, so the lack of marinas and availability of the berths. We don't have the shipyards and the refit or the provisioning services for yachts that may visit the region. Other factors are crew training and of course the tax laws in China and government regulations. Now, we don't get much media coverage over here about the Belt and Road project, which I'm sure you're sick of hearing over there.
Yeah, right.
That aims to solve quite a few of those challenges within the maritime industry. Now, for the listeners that are tuning in today, that may not be familiar about the Belt and Road project, it's a large-scale initiative that China aims to connect with other countries through the development of infrastructure and facilities through road, rail, and of course, most importantly for those of us in the yachting sector, ports and marinas. Now, altogether, it flows into developing marine tourism, which is a big aspect of the growth of yachting in China. And of course, your series is aiming to push that lifestyle aspect, which is part of the marine tourism. Now, how do you see the infrastructure challenges that already are presented in China, so to speak, the lack of the yachting hardware with the production series? Do you think that might prove a challenge for you if you go along and film the series?
Well, we actually just recently got contacted by the Zhuhai Boating Association. So there is immediately, we haven't even put the first episode out, but immediately we're getting some interest from China boating community. But it's China boating. We're at starting point for boating in China. As you mentioned, the infrastructure isn't really world class yet, but China has an amazing ability to move very, very quickly.
Yeah.
The focus of our show is not so much promoting chartering or yachting in China, but promoting yachting to Chinese people. And I believe that the first thing we'll see is Chinese people chartering in other parts of the world. That this demand among Chinese people will then motivate Chinese investment companies and even local governments to say, we want a piece of that action. They're very, very quick to move when they see opportunity. Yes. And I believe you'll see major investments in people buying yacht charter fleets. Local governments will start trying to fast track things like marinas and even Xi Jinping announced, I believe, earlier this week that they want to make Hainan a free trade zone, and they want to promote ocean-based recreation. So, of course, sailing, other kinds of ocean-based recreation, and of course, yachting.
Yeah, and I think
so. Yeah.
Go ahead. We are seeing it slowly start to cross-filter here in the last few years, particularly some of the major brokerage houses have opened offices in Asia. So there is a sort of, at the moment, people sitting back and waiting to see what's going to happen. And then I think we will see more of a graduation towards that sector growing quite quickly, as you mentioned. And would you have any plans to perhaps speak to charter brokers in the series as you move along?
We would like to. One of the things that one of the problems we saw with the wine industry, and unfortunately we see it also with the charter industry and the yachting industry, is that they are very focused on making sales. They don't want to invest to build the market. They want to only invest and see a return, immediately, if not sooner. So with wines, all they want to do is sell, a container of wine. They don't want to do the hard work of expanding the market. But we believe in the concept. I believe in the concept that to grow an industry or to grow a brand, you need to reach people who are not presently interested in your product. And to do that means you need to find a way to make it seem appealing to them. Again, this is why we're focusing on lifestyle first, fashion, ecology issues, luxury villas, and marina lifestyle, focusing on that first, rather than the boats. So the boats are central in our show. The boat is in our show is central, but it is not focused on. We do a 2-minute quick tour, explaining to people about what is a yacht, what's on a yacht. Basic things like port, starboard, bow, stern, salon, flybridge. Just because in China most people don't even know that terminology. Yes. Now there are a small segment of people who are very knowledgeable about yachts, but they're a small segment. And China has, as we mentioned, 2 new billionaires coming online every month on average. So That's pretty amazing. We've got many people worth a lot of money who could enjoy yachting, and of course people who just have good jobs who can enjoy yacht charter. So we think that what will happen is it'll start with charter and then go towards yacht purchases, with a little bit of lag on that.
Yes, and one thing I have noticed, particularly coming from Asia, that differs so greatly from, say, the Mediterranean or North American markets in yachting, is you have a propensity, even at the boat shows that are in your region, is there's a lot of family-orientated activities. So they have kids zones and workshops with marine biologists explaining about ocean preservation for children, and it's something that we just don't really see up here in the boat shows. So culturally, that's quite a big difference that I've noticed. That there's that push to involve the family and families do go on charter up here in the Mediterranean, but it's just not promoted in boat shows as such. And so, the increase of the sailing regattas that are taking place in China, you've got the big races as well, Volvo. And so there is, as Sarah mentioned earlier in the week, when she spoke to Riviera on Monday, the sailing itself is still viewed as a sport. So for yachting, luxury yachting, the educational aspect of that is going to be quite interesting to follow, to see how you develop that.
Right. And yachting is very, very well suited to Chinese, the way Chinese people travel, because they travel with close friends or with their parents and their child, and often their IE, which is sort of like a nanny. So you can have everybody together on a yacht. You can be, off the coast of Sardinia or Monaco. And if you get tired of local food, you can make chow chow, for the baby, and have sort of bringing China, a little bit of China with you, and still have an experience and have everybody you love right around you. So it really suits Chinese families. And as you mentioned, another thing is that women have a very, very big voice in China in terms of these kinds of things, luxury purchases, of course, where the family goes for holiday, how they go for holiday. So part of our focus is we are actually putting women slightly before men, and most of the yachting marketing we know globally is targeting wealthy, powerful men. We're targeting a little bit more women, because they are really important drivers in China. And yes, and as a matter of fact, I believe that they are the #1 purchasers of Land Rover cars, or Range Rover, in China. More women buy them than men. Same thing, I think, with Maserati. So, women are big purchasers of large luxury products here.
Yes, and the decision-making factor, especially as the this yachting sector grows in China. It'll be interesting to see how that crosses over in the future, and whether it spreads here. I have seen more of a, media-wise, more of a focus on women in yachting anyway. So perhaps in the last 2 years, there's been quite a push into highlighting CEOs of yachting companies and shipyards and things like that. So there is more of an increase that slowly happened, and it's filtering down. But it's interesting that your aim from the beginning is to feature the woman in the series as well. Now, you spoke before about Oceans for All, and of course, Yacht Life will be highlighting the lifestyle aspect of your show, but also ocean preservation. So,
Yes.
Will you have a number of episodes in the first series that will focus purely on ocean preservation? I know you've done the interview already with the founder, but is there anything else that you'll bring that's new to the Chinese audience?
Yeah, well, we want to keep that as an ongoing theme, and not necessarily, even not just in an entire episode. We will talk to maybe like World Wildlife Fund. We're talking to them maybe about doing something on sharks. There are obviously other organizations we can highlight. We can also highlight things that brands are doing, and that care about these issues, whether it's ocean plastic pollution or overfishing. There's a lot of these issues which it's important to raise in China, and most Chinese people are not aware of it. It's good that they raise these issues at boat shows, And again, once Chinese mentality or there's a sort of a tip of the scale, China moves really quickly, really quickly. And to have China as a major partner in ocean preservation and protecting fish stocks and coral reefs and things like that is going to be a big help globally for everybody. So yes, we will put a little bit into maybe multiple episodes. Again, our future episodes will be things like yacht racing. We'll do things like maybe mega yacht tour. Visiting a yacht manufacturer, a shipbuilder, all aspects of it. But we'll do it as in a natural progression as we can, depending on who our sponsors are and who our partners are. And of course, even things like, there's a lot of, like the Healing Ocean was one of the episodes we'd like to do, and that's about things about, holistic health on the ocean, yoga, and all that. There's some people doing things like that.
Okay, great. So there's quite a broad a range of topics that you will be covering in the series. So I quite like that idea because obviously we've had a few reality TV shows that are focused on following around charter boats, and you have the crew aspect of the side. So by covering a few different topics in Yacht Life, the series, it's a nice overview for people that aren't familiar with what to expect, and they might connect with one or two different aspects of it, and think, oh wow, I'm really interested to find out more about ocean conservation, or perhaps I'd like to find out more about safety or something like that. So I do like the idea of the progression of the series as covering a broad range of topics. I think that's a really great angle that you're taking. Now, just with the social media in China, which platforms can your audience watch the Yacht Life series?
Well, Sarah handles that aspect. We're on for distribution. We're on about 12 different channels. Of course, all the big ones, and there's some new ones. For example, in September, CCTV, China Central Television, just launched a new site, and they asked us for our content. So we're migrating our content over to there. Of course, the yacht show will migrate over to there. Good thing about that is that when the new platform comes up, particularly with a major player like China Central Television, they're going to give the content a push. They want to attract eyeballs. So any good content on there will get an extra boost. Sina Weibo is, of course, a social media platform. Sarah's got over 1 million fans on there. WeChat is another platform. There's a new platform which was put out by Sina called Oasis, and that only launched in October. Okay. And Sarah already has about 30,000 fans on that. It's still in beta, so it hasn't rolled out full. But so there's new types of social media that is, China's an ever-evolving ecosystem. And because of our position and Sarah's position in the market, everything that happens, they come to her and say, Sarah, could you, we're going to give you a channel on here, that kind of stuff. So we have broad reach and social media in China. She also has some connections on Facebook, but it's not as many. And LinkedIn, of course.
Yeah, of
business
course.
To business.
And LinkedIn's fantastic for the business building of everything. And I understand for this series, you will actually cross-promote that on YouTube as well for your international audience.
We are, and again, we have partners on this show, and every episode will have partners. Particularly when we shoot outside of China, they will have access to YouTube. For example, Royal Phuket Marina will post it. We've got a couple of fashion brands that are featured in the first episodes. They'll post it. Oceans for All, of course. We have Oris watches, Swiss luxury watch. They'll post on theirs, and Deep Ocean Water is one of our other sponsors. So all of these brands will also promote it through their social media, which is Facebook and I guess whatever other ones they use in the West, and YouTube.
Yeah, because I think that's it's valuable for quite well-known brands that are particularly known outside of China to get involved in the show. As the market is growing there, because we need that accessibility of the media as well. And there is a lot of people aren't too sure about the social media platforms in China that they can access and the availability. And so by having, some content that is feeding through platforms such as Facebook to a lesser degree, and then YouTube, and then of course Yachting International Radio, who we're speaking to.
Right.
it does reach a wider audience, and so it's promotion in a good avenue to heading towards, you know, what you guys are trying to achieve. So just heading forward, where do you see the series finish? How do you see it continuing? Because I understand originally you had, was it 12 episodes for the first series?
Well, yes, we were originally thinking, you know, roughly 12 episodes a season. Just that's how we tend to think. Obviously, we could do more, we could do a little bit less. One of the great things about online is that you're not locked into a rigid TV schedule. So you don't need to do 23-minute episodes. We can make an episode's 15 minutes or 12 minutes or 18 minutes, right? We can basically, how the content is, we can make them available whenever we want. So we like to space them out, and we tend to space our episode distribution by at least 2 weeks, because people consume online differently. So they may want to watch something, but they don't necessarily want to watch it right then. So they can say, oh, and then you promote it for 2 weeks, and people may watch it at the end of the 2-week period. But you get an arc of how people watch. And then we put out another episode. So that's how we tend to do it. But you know, again, we have some flexibility with that. But going forward, of course, we want this to be sort of a global tour of the yachting world. So starting in Thailand, then of course we can feature other destinations, whether it's, you know, Greece or Spain or the Caribbean or you know, United Arab Emirates. Somebody contacted us about doing some stuff there, or other places in Southeast Asia like Singapore or Hong Kong. Just you kind of dipping into these global yachting centers and sampling the culture. So we already have a format. We can feature the food, the fashion, the design elements, even some of the countryside if we want, the living style, luxury living, whether it's condo or villas, or we can feature all of that in, and educating our Chinese consumers to this lifestyle and a global scale.
Yes, and what's your dream yachting destination yourself, Rick? Where would you go?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I probably would say maybe Regione Liguria, going down the Italian coast, that area in there, and I'd spent some time there, but never yachting, but just, you know, touring, and I enjoyed it. The little villages. I'm Italian, so the food is very good. Yeah.
Great. And so just to wrap up here, so are we likely to see you up here in the French Riviera anytime soon?
We'd like to. I mean, that was our original first destination, and we were working on that. And then Thailand basically was so enthusiastic. The Royal Phuket Marina was you know, excited to work with us, and we said let's go with this. So we would love to do something in Monaco or France or Italy or anywhere in Europe. It may be in early spring, but we have to find partners, and we also have to find sponsors who want to, you know, who want to be associated with it and are willing to fund this, because we're 100% brand funded in China. There is no back end with content. You don't sell shows, so the shows must be financed and 100% upfront.
Yes, yeah. So production costs are all covered, and then after that you have the distribution and everything. So
right.
So fingers crossed we'll see you up here in the Mediterranean sometime.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Okay, so well, on behalf of Yachting International Radio, thank you so much for chatting to us today from China, and all the best for the launch of Yacht Life in the middle of November, and we're looking forward to following the series as it progresses.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay, cheers.
Take care.